all right, well, here are some answers right here. Does that jive with what I really want to do? Or it can allow you to ask better questions, of the men and women around you. And then the last piece, the last skill development lesson, and this is actually, I think, the hardest for a lot of our guys, is they got to do public speaking. They actually got to stand up and prepare something that they can talk to in front of the entire group for 3 minutes. Wow. What have you learned? What does it mean to be a good man to you now? What will you take away from this? So we give them some questions that they have to write down. We talk about writing stuff down on a note card, standing up, presenting yourself well, chin up, shoulders back. That actually changes your body chemistry, and, smile, and then, proceed from there. So, practice. So, we want them to learn the skill of being able to present themselves and present their ideas verbally to all those around them, in a safe place. So,
right. Yeah. And how do most of the kids, do they enjoy that public speaking, or do some freak out?
They hate it. They hate it. But it's interesting. You see them get up and squirm just a little bit. Mm-hmm. But at the end of it, when they leave the classroom, they all look a little bit taller. Mm-hmm. They all look like, I just accomplished something that's different and was challenging. And if you can teach a young man to be able to face fears and to learn how to overcome something that they don't know, even just a little bit, I mean, man, that really changes them. And that really starts to set them up for something really awesome going forward. So they learn that, yeah, they might not like it, but hey, if you do it and it's important and you can start the process, there's a lot of benefit for that.
Okay, so listeners, they have an idea of what it does. So now, how do they do this? What would, if someone said, I want to bring my son through this, or I have a small group, how do they do something like that?
So the easiest way is to actually just buy the book. The book is sold via Amazon. We can either get a paperback copy. I mean, it's only like 35 pages, 40 pages. Or they can get a digital version. And basically I'm selling it pretty much at cost. I think it's $4.95 for the digital version and $9 for the paper version. And I tell families, you can take one and just print it off. I don't worry about copyright here. This is, to me, should be a gift from God to everybody. Yep. And if I can help provide that, then that's awesome. So then it's just kind of follow the book. We have some families that have done it over a weekend. We have some families that say, all right, every night we're going to do this, one little bit of this together. We're going to spend 20 minutes doing it, and they spread it out a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Some groups, I've heard of a group that actually gets together with parents and their children before school starts, and they do a lesson a week, like at a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A or at someone's house. Mm-hmm. Or they, like we do at our church, where, I lead the class at the church itself. So it really can be edited and changed to fit whatever is needed there. And then the other thing I always tell people is, please, reach out to me. I would love to help in any way, shape, or form that I can, in terms of helping you provide this for your children. But the easiest way, is just really to buy the book and go through it.
Yeah, and we will have your website and email address. I won't put your cell number out there because too many crazies, man. You don't need that.
Well, but, I won't be answering much during the summer anyway. So
no, I know. Yeah, you're busy the next few months.
Yep.
So, and this would be great for homeschoolers too.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great way to start the conversation. This fall I'll be coming out with a similar book, but for younger boys, because the conversations that you need to have with your 8 to 12-year-old, very different than I think you need to have with your 13 to 18-year-old. They're very different developmental groups. Yep. And so we're coming out with one for the younger set of kids that starts the process of making them think a little bit, and and uses the stories of the Bible to learn a little bit more. And then once you get to be in that 8th grade, I think that's the time really where it's going to be pathways to manhood. The first one might be called, like stepping stones or something like that. They're starting the step towards the path. But once you get to be in high school age, you really need to start thinking about what does it mean to be a man and what kind of man you're going to become, because it's a choice. It's up to each individual, young man to decide whether they want to or not. They're going to become a man.
Right.
So why not decide what kind of man you want to become.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, what kind of man will you be?
Yeah, and that's a question that no one asks. It's interesting, I think a lot of women become women naturally because, they go through puberty and they start to have their period. And there's a very clear line of demarcation, like we were talking about. There's not for boys. And I think our schools and our families are failing. And honestly, I think it should be a question of the parents. The parents need to be able to look at the young man and say, all right, what kind of guy are you going to become? We are aiming creatures. We have eyes and we aim at things, and whatever we aim at, that's, we're going to go in that direction. We might not hit the mark, but we're going in that direction.
Right.
And if your aim is materialism and secularism, then that's where you're going to go. Yep. If your aim is God, okay, you got a much better chance of getting that way.
Yep.
There's a guy named David Foster Wallace who gave a great talk at college a number of years ago. He said that, we all worship something. The human race worships something. The problem is, if you worship money, you'll never have enough. Power, you'll never have enough. Your looks, you're going to get old and ugly. Your body, you're going to sag.
Wait a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
That, yeah.
If you worship anything other than God,
yep,
it will tear you apart. And, once they get to be high school, they need to start thinking about that. How much time are they spending on social media? How much time are they spending, with things that they shouldn't be? How much time are they spending, thinking about what kind of man they want to be? And I think we need to start flipping that script a little bit, for our young men.
Yep, I agree. What we have just a couple minutes left here. Is there anything else you want to add? Encourage dads?
Gosh, take just every little step counts. It matters. Every little thing. And I think I personally don't think it's ever too late to start. I think that the Immanuel Project, I put out a blog post, once a month, just kind of or a couple times a month, to try to kind of encourage people, give them some ideas of what they can do at home. We do a daily devotional. It's like every other day right now on Instagram. It's never too late for dads to start to create their own relationship with God, and then to bring their son along with them. Because our boys, they learn by what the adults around them do more than what they say. So I think first and foremost, we have to start to kind of check ourselves and say, where are we at? What kind of example am I showing for my son and my daughter, and move from there. And then the other thing is for moms, if you're a single mom that's trying to raise your son, or a grandmom or grandparents that are trying to raise a young man, I know you can do it. It's been done before. I can't imagine how hard it is to try to make it all work. But to me, preparing him to be a good man is the most important thing you can possibly do for him in his life. He'll make his own choices, but my hope is that something like this, the Immanuel Project and the Pathway to Manhood, will give people a way to start sometimes difficult or awkward conversations, because it's not about them. It's not about me. It's about the Bible and what Jesus is calling on us to do as men. So hopefully this will help people in the process.
Yep. All right. And like I said, why don't you give people your website and email real quick?
Yeah, so it's ImmanuelProject.net, and it's spelled IMMANEUL project.net. I like that version because it's, I'm man, and then the net, the idea of, Jesus wants us to be fishers of men. So it's ImmanuelProject.net. And then on Instagram, it's Immanuel Project, or at Immanuel Project on Instagram. And then on Facebook, we do a couple of things, and that's just facebook.com/Immanuel Project. So those are the different ways to find us.
Cool. I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us today, and we'll have more to come. We briefly discussed a couple opportunities after camp's done and all of that stuff that we can we can do together, and so I'm looking forward to that. And I just thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're swamped and doing this show with us.
Oh, I'm happy to do it. Anything I can do to help you guys spread the word, I'm more than happy to do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, and we will talk soon.
Sounds good.
their voices, hear their voices, hear their footsteps as they march, hear their whispers, hear their whispers, the stories of their scars, see their bondage, their shackles and their chains, see their broken hearts and their calloused knees. Their blood cries from the ground, a sound that God will not ignore. Memories fade into black like the trail of a shooting star. Lines on a notebook screaming for a tale. Mother's daughter, sing a song of a heavy heart. So let's stand with our brothers and never forget. So let's stand. Let's stand. So let's stand with our Savior who died so that we might live. So let's stand. Feel their heartbeat. Feel their heartbeat as the hopelessness weighs down. Feel the darkness. Feel the darkness engulf them all around. Taste the freedom. Taste the freedom as they march all in a row. Soldiers lining up in rank, bowing down before the throne. Their blood cries from the ground, a sound that God will not ignore. Memories fade into black like the trail of a shooting star. Lines on a notebook screaming for a tale. Wives, sons, sing your song of a heavy heart. So let's stand with our brothers and never forget. So let's stand. Let's stand. So let's stand with our Savior who died so that we might live. So let's stand. Hear, O Lord, from your heavenly throne. Hear the prayers of our brethren. Hear the prayers of your own. Come and save us, Lord. Come and strengthen your church. Give us your mighty spirit. Give us the resolve to stand against the wiles of the enemy, to stand true to the end, steadfast, immovable, faithful, no matter what the cost. We pray for our brethren around the world, our brothers and sisters who bravely stand in the face of persecution every single day, that we may sing this song together with one voice, in unison, not forsaking the truth. We will not resign. We will not back down. We will keep fighting till we knock on heaven's door. So let's stand.